This student scored 11, 12, 11, 10, and this is one of many students who have now scored more than 9, mostly more than 10, in CELPIP using our CELPIP 15-hour course. The link for this beautiful course is in the description. Check it out because right now it's at a discounted offer which is not going to last long. Now, let's talk about CELPIP reading. Today we're going to discuss parts 3 and 4. In the last video we covered 1 and 2. Check that out if you haven't already. Now when we do this part, you have to match the paragraphs with the options here. Simple. I am going to give you the strategy before you even try different stuff, because we have done different strategies in classes with students and we know exactly what works. So here's what happens. When you have to match these questions with the paragraphs, you're looking at similar information, but it's a lot of things to look at. You got 9 questions here and you got big paragraphs here. The problem is if I read this sentence, for example, and then I have just 2 options to look at, it is the best case scenario. I can digest that information. But the issue here arises when I have to read a whole paragraph and then I have to match it with everything. Even if I manage to retain all this information, which is very long, I might read 1, 2, 3, and by the time I'm at 4, I have already forgotten what was said. And again, even if I see something like this, I am just bombarded with so much information that I cannot recall it. So we have tried multiple things, and I'll tell you the things I've tried so you don't have to try them and you save time. We have tried to look at, let's say, 4 questions at a time, so almost half of them, and then do all the paragraphs, A, B, C, D. And then look at the remaining 4 to 5 questions, then do the paragraphs again. This time it's faster because you have read everything. The problem here is you always run out of time. Okay, then we have tried the other way around. We have tried looking at half paragraphs at a time, match it with all 9 questions because you're not reading much, and then do the other half. This, though, causes a lot of confusion. People just get confused here because the information is sometimes repetitive, and if something here was continuing here, you haven't built that flow because you read half of it and then stopped and then read the other half. This does not work too. That's why the only strategy that ever works in this part, this is literally the only strategy. There is no other strategy, there's no other smart way to do this, is to read all the questions 1 to 9. And then look at all the paragraphs one by one now. So you look at paragraph A, read the whole thing, understand it, then come back and match it with 1 to 9. Read paragraph B, understand it, come back and match it with 1 to 9, and so on. Now, before you start complaining and you say, this is too much, I mean, you're asking me to read all the questions. That's extremely hard to remember, and then read one whole paragraph and then match it. First of all, there's a strategy. I'm going to get to it. Second of all, even if it's hard, this is a skill you have to master because there is no other way. We have tried everything. We're the top CELPIP tutoring company in the world. We get thousands of students monthly. We have done this with thousands of students. This is the only thing that works, which means if you are weak at this, you have to make this better. You have to multitask and make the strategy better, simply. However, there's an easy way to do this. That is linking the keywords in the question with your imagination. Then I'll tell you why we do this. So firstly, what does that mean? Well, if I'm looking at question number 1, it says the integration of biological control methods is primarily associated with. So integration, I'm thinking of integration, the combination of this using some methods. So mixing up something, that's my mental image. Good. Smart irrigation systems, what does that mean? Smart irrigation, maybe we're using technology, maybe it's sustainable, maybe it's using something advanced. So every time I see irrigation systems and they're doing something extra, I'm thinking of this question. Now we're looking at words like benefits and advantages. It's not really 2 different questions. I'm just thinking any paragraph that talks about advantages, any positives, any pros, these questions are going to be the ones to look at. Then we're looking at the word traditional, so old style. Maybe they're going to talk about old farming methods like without machinery, using animals. Number 6 is about weather. That's easy to predict or imagine. Imagine weather, snow, clouds. Long-term ecological implications of agriculture are considered. Okay, so we can see a pattern. Agriculture is mentioned again and again. So the whole thing must be about agriculture. It cannot be a keyword. But ecological implications, what does that imply? Something in the future. What can I think of in the future that would be affected with biotechnology in agriculture? And so on. You get the idea. Now for 8 and 9, feel free to comment what you think would be the possible images you want to get into your head. And also, if you do comment, not only for this, you comment anything and also like this video, you'll be entered in our giveaway. We're giving away these mock tests for free to lucky winners. All you gotta do is comment down below and like the video. With your image really clear in your head, you know what these questions are talking about. You have picked the concepts. You have not read the entire questions, just gotten the ideas from some keywords. Now, when you start reading, every time a keyword that you read or you visualized comes up, you stop and mid-paragraph, you go back and match it with that question. Mid-paragraph, you go match it with that question. Some of them are going to be false alarms. Not all things would match exactly, but this way you will constantly be in tune with the questions, so you're not reading without a purpose. You always click whenever there's a match, and that makes this strategy fast. Also note that this becomes easier as you go. When you answer paragraph A, maybe you're going to pick answers 3 and 6, for example. For paragraph B, you don't have 3 and 6 to look at anymore. Now you just have the remaining options. Similarly, for paragraph C and D, the options will get narrower and narrower, and you would have read questions multiple times at this point, so the speed picks up as you go, which makes this the best strategy. Finally, whatever is left at the end, just mark it as E, and off you go to passage number 4. In this passage, there is a debate. And the first thing I do is the most useful thing, and you will see how that works beautifully right now. I'm going to do 20% effort, and that's going to generate almost all correct answers. So let me understand the debate. What is the debate here? I'm going to skim through real quick to understand. In the bustling heart of metropolis, news disclaimer, okay, and complex exploration of future urban development. This all is kind of a general introduction. I understand that. This conversation is not merely an academic exercise. It's a pressing societal imperative. So this is something pressing as the world witness, some infrastructure, governance, resources. At the core of this is the fundamental how cities should evolve to accommodate a growing and diverse population. They're talking about cities. They're talking about we need to discuss how they should evolve, and we should balance sustainability, environment, and equity. Got you. Okay, I'm going to keep going. My first guy is mentioned here. This economist, Dr. Michael, advocates for the concept of smart cities. Okay, so what does he mean by that? These are urban areas that leverage cutting-edge digital technologies to enhance the quality of urban services, reduce resource consumption, and actively engage citizens. Okay, so he's talking about smart cities, which are cutting-edge, basically using technology, and that's going to have benefits like reduce consumption and engage citizens. Gotcha. So you want to build smart cities, Dr. Michael? Fine. Let's see the next person, Dr. Leela. And she is against it. See, she's saying over-reliance on technology is a bad thing, and that's it. That's all I'm going to read. I got the debate. The debate is we should build something new for cities. One guy says build smart cities which rely on technology, and the other person says it's a bad idea, technology is bad. Got it. If I go to the first question, according to Dr. Michael, this guy, the smart cities guy, what is the primary benefit of smart cities? The first option says enhance quality of urban services through technology. That makes sense. He was talking about technology and that would improve things. That might be the answer. Next, improve socioeconomic inclusivity, not mentioned. Reduction in cultural disparities, not mentioned. Availability of affordable housing, not mentioned. This is the correct answer. And I didn't even read all of it. I just got the idea about what he would want. And with the opponent, I know that she is the one, she would say something about inequalities, urban environments, digital divide, gap between those with access to modern infrastructure. Those were her points. This guy would support this completely. So I got the correct answer. That does not mean this is how you do the reading. I'm just showing you, once you understand the debate, things become very clear. Now let's keep that going. Let's see how long that works for. What concern does Dr. Leela Morrison raise regarding smart cities? Well, she was the one who's talking about inequalities and how technology is a bad thing, right? They might exacerbate socioeconomic inequalities. Yeah, she did mention socioeconomic issues, exacerbating inequalities, exact same words. They could disrupt cultural integration. Nothing about cultural integration. She said gap between those with technology and without. Cultural is not mentioned, and they focus excessively on environmental issues. No, she didn't say that smart cities focus on environmental issues or don't focus on them. They fail technological, and we're gonna go down here. Technological advancements. That was the complete opposite. The smart cities actually focus on technology. So the answer is going to be the first one. And again, that is just from initial parts of the debate. Now, the right way to do this in the exam is not the way I'm doing it. I'm doing it in a very rushed manner. Of course, you have to look at the questions, then you understand the entire point of view of Dr. Michael, read the whole paragraph. For Dr. Leela, understand her point of view. Then you see something like environmentalists, that's another paragraph or category. You read their point of view and then you answer. However, you can see just by understanding the core debate itself, one person is focusing on technology. The other person is saying it's bad because it's going to widen the gap between people who have it and people who don't. You are able to answer almost all questions and really better your understanding. And then it's going to be 10 times better when you actually read the whole paragraph in detail with the correct time. Going to the next section, remember this is like part 1. This is a comment by someone who read this initial article. So I'm going to use once again the help of what I used in part 1. If you saw the previous video about part 1, what we did was we looked at the keywords around the blank and we looked at the tone. In this case, it says, reflecting on diverse perspectives presented in the article, I find myself intrigued by the notion of some cities. What cities were we talking about? We were talking about smart cities. That is our topic. Here, the keyword is cities. The keyword will help me get the answer. What kind of cities? Smart cities. That is the topic. And it's also the tone. This guy is not saying I support it or I go against it. It's based on the tone. He's just reflecting or summarizing the topic. Hey, the notion of what we just discussed, smart cities. Similarly, the next thing is going to be dependent on the keywords and so on. The keywords around the blanks are always going to be my guide to getting the answer. The 9 questions here, up to the question number 9, if you do this, you will notice he is reflecting on what was said, and you can find answers based on the tone and the words around the blank. However, I wanted to do question number 10 for you. See, here it says, in this vein, focusing on something could be a strategy to ensure that technological progress benefits all urban residents equitably. So he is kind of supporting Dr. Leela because he wants to integrate technology in a way that you don't have inequality, you have equitability or equitably, or people can live equitably, as he mentioned here. But what is going to go here? It's not something that was mentioned in the passage, which is why this is a different type of answer, which I wanted to talk about. Sometimes these articles, the comment articles, make their own conclusions. This guy is drawing a conclusion and it's a different idea. It's not something that is mentioned here. So if I'm this guy and I put myself in his position, he reflected on the article and now his solution is we gotta be able to find a solution that's equitable. So in this vein, focusing on something could be a strategy to ensure. What that something could be is equity in technology. That's going to lead us to something equal. It's not going to be environmental solutions, cultural dialogue. Again, culture is not really mentioned here. It's cultural policies, but it's not really racism or talking about any cultural divide. It's not really that. And economic distribution, it's not about the rich and poor. It's the wide between people who have technology and who don't. So the ideal answer here is equity in technology. And again, what I'm showing you here is this equity in technology is nowhere in the conclusion of this whole passage. It's not a solution that's given, but we are making that solution based on what this guy is probably gonna say? So in these kinds of questions, a lot of times you look at the words not only around the blank, but as I mentioned, the overall tone and also your judgment based on where this person is coming from. What is he or she likely to say? And again, there's no place where you can say, hey, it's mentioned here, so the answer will be here. CELPIP reading can be like that. It's based on judgment many times. Similarly, while this guy was very neutral, this guy could also be very one-sided. He could be just supporting Dr. Leela, and in that case, all answers would be in support of Dr. Leela's beliefs, which would be technology is bad. It's going to create a divide. Or if he was against Dr. Leela, he would be supporting Dr. Michaels, and he would be saying all good things about technology. And then you would make your judgments based on that, where this person is coming from. Guys, that's how you handle part 4. And again, go in detail, read it properly, and make sure it's accurate. Give it time. But again, remember, the main essence is getting the idea off the debate. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And for more videos and way more detailed lessons like these on reading, check out our CELPIP 15-hour course. 75,000 people have already bought it, benefited from it, and you can be the next one. The link is in the description. Check it out, and I'll talk to you later.